Hello everyone, welcome back to Classic Comics. So it's been a while since I've done one of these, a comic review, so I guess I'm overdue. In this case, it is the first issue of DC's new Aquaman series. Now, I haven't been keeping close track of events at DC for the last, I guess, about 2 years now. I dropped it about that long ago. I mean, I won't get into all the reasons why, but apparently there was some recent event where Amanda Waller stole all the heroes' powers or something like that, and some of the heroes got their powers back at the end, but some got the wrong powers back, and some didn't get their powers back at all. And some civilians who weren't heroes before and didn't have powers, they got powers. So things are kind of a mess. Now, this is the first issue of Aquaman in their All In initiative. The cover art by John Timms, is really good. It's kind of basic, no background to speak of, but Arthur, he definitely looks cool. So the story is by Jeremy Adams, with, again, John Timms doing the art. And it's got this nice 2-page spread here with Aquaman fighting this, whatever this is, kind of Cthulhu-looking creature. This is not actually part of the story. This seems to be just kind of setting up what's going to come or something like that, kind of giving us a look at what will eventually happen in this story. So it says here it starts 1 year before, so I guess this is supposed to be, I don't know, 1 year before what, I'm not sure, but there's this jetliner crashing. We see Arthur shoot up out of the water, lands on the plane, and then he starts using, so Mira shows up too, and then Mira guides him in how to use his hydrokinetic powers, because apparently he has gotten Mira's water control powers, and she's sort of guiding him in how to use them, and he uses these powers to help the plane land. We get this cool kind of 2-page spread here. Then they start helping the passengers evacuate the plane. Then after that, they go back to Atlantis. Now they meet up with Jackson Hyde, who mentions to Arthur that he found something strange. He found a pearl. And Aquaman's like, well, what's strange about that? This is the ocean, after all. And doesn't really think anything of it. Then Aquaman goes into this council chamber to conduct his duties as the ruler. And, of course, he's kind of bored by all of it. Then they get this signal that there's an emergency. There's this big creature, kind of this water creature that is attacking the coast of Florida. Aquaman arrives to fight it. And the creature is composed of water, so then Arthur uses his hydrokinetic powers to disperse the creature or dissolve it. Now, after that's dealt with, he then hears Mira's voice in his head crying out for him, so he races back to Atlantis. And when he arrives, Atlantis is destroyed in ruins. All the people are gone. And really all that's left is this pearl, which is now glowing. He takes the pearl up to the Justice League satellite. And Zatanna examines the pearl, and all she can really say is, well, this thing seems to be really old, very ancient, and very powerful. Okay, great. He talks with Batman and Wonder Woman, and they're trying to figure out what might have happened. Then Zatanna says she's detecting an energy signature kind of identical to the pearl, and tells Aquaman where it is. So then he and Wonder Woman and Batman go to it. It's down way deep in the ocean. And they go to the spot and they find this kind of what looks like an arch of some kind. Then the pearl slips out of Aquaman's hands and enters the arch, and it activates what seems to be like a Stargate or some kind of portal, right? And Aquaman then says he feels or senses something calling to him from the other side of the portal and feels like he needs to go in and investigate. So he goes through, and after he leaves, we then see the arch. And of course, with all the coral and all the sea vegetation and everything that was kind of built up on it gone, we see that the arch is actually this Omega symbol. And of course, at DC, the Omega symbol, that usually indicates dark side. So apparently this is going to involve dark side in some way. So let's go over the good and the bad and the ugly here. First of all, the good. The art by John Timms is quite good for the most part. It looks really sharp. His art features really crisp line work, nicely detailed backgrounds in some panels, like here with Atlantis, looks really good. His throne room looks really nice. There's another panel here with the satellite. I really like this shot here, this kind of overhead shot. There's also some impressive splash pages and 2-page spreads. Of course, there's this one here, the shot of him coming out of the water. You get this 2-page spread here, of course, saving the jetliner. Looks really cool. He does mix in a few dynamic panels here and there. I'd like a few more, honestly, but it's not bad. His figure work is also really nice. Arthur looks really cool. You know, he looks heroic. He looks kingly the way he should. Mira looks nice too. She's not in the book much. She's only on a few pages. Now, one thing I would mention about the art is the coloring. So the coloring in this issue just, to me, seems kind of just kind of washed out, or most of the colors seem kind of pale, for lack of a better description. Like Mira, look at Mira's hair. Mira in the past has generally been depicted having really bright red hair, right? And here it's this kind of orange, almost kind of like a muddy orange, and, you know, I'm just not that crazy about it. Or like this cloak, you know, this cloak, it's kind of this kind of pale kind of green. I mean, personally, this is just a personal preference, but I prefer kind of deeper, richer colors, and I would prefer that here, but the colorist does a fine job. The story, on the other hand, it leaves me, you know, I'm not that crazy about it. Aquaman saves a plane, water creature shows up, then Atlantis is suddenly gone. All the people are gone. Are they dead or alive? And if so, where are they? Now, there's nothing wrong with any of this necessarily, but I mean, just how many times have we seen stories where Atlantis gets reduced to ruins and abandoned? The Our World's at War storyline really comes to mind. It was kind of the same thing. During that storyline, Atlantis seems to have been wiped off the map. And then later, of course, we find out that it wasn't really destroyed. It was displaced in time and sent back into the past or something like that. And, I mean, do we really think that everyone in Atlantis, including Mira, has been killed off? I don't buy that for a minute. And even Arthur doesn't really seem to. Even he seems to talk more in terms of figuring out what happened and where Atlantis and the people went, rather than, oh my God, these people are all gone. Everything's gone. So there's not a great deal of dramatic tension here, really. They've clearly been whisked away somewhere, and Arthur's going to have to find them. And does Darkseid have to be behind everything? You know, they really lean on him a lot. I said in a recent video that I actually did on some Superman villains, where I talked about how they tend to lean on just a few Superman villains and don't really use his rogues gallery to its full potential. But that really kind of goes for DC in general. And this is another example of that. You know, it's Darkseid again. And I have mixed feelings about that, because I think Darkseid's kind of overused. He's not as bad as the Joker, but he's getting there. But on the other hand, this is an Aquaman story, and it looks like this Aquaman story is not going to revolve around Black Manta or the Ocean Master, so that's good. So anyway, this comic is pretty good. It's not great, but I am interested to see just where the story leads. And the art by Timms is really nice. So I will give this a thumbs up and encourage you to check it out. Let me know what you thought of this issue and of my review in the comments, and please do like this video before you leave and sub to the channel, and check out some of my other videos while you're here, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching.